Welcome to Podcast Answers, the show where I help you start and grow your podcast, answering any podcasting questions along the way. And it looks like I'm having a little bit of trouble with my overlays. There we go. I help people start and grow their podcast, all while answering any questions along the way. Today, we are going to be talking about HLS video. That's right, what it is, new stuff with Podcast Answers. With Apple Podcasts. There we go. It's been a few hot minutes here, but hey, first I wanted to welcome you guys back. I did change this the support for this show. So if you didn't know, this show is supported solely by your donations. That's the way we do this show. That's the way that we can afford our hosting and all of the equipment that we use. So thank you for supporting us. And if you feel like supporting us, I did just switch from Buy Me a Coffee to Patreon. And there's several reasons I did that. I've used both Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee for different projects that I've been working on before, but I decided to do a Patreon on this one. And so if you are watching us now live, you can go to podcastanswers.com/support. That'll forward you on to our Patreon. And the cool thing about it is you can get shout outs in the show, behind the scene content, live chats, merch, exclusive contents based on your support level that ranges anywhere between $5, $10, and $20 a month. And we would love to have you. And you can also know that you are helping support great independent content that allows me to produce the content for you. So guys, thanks. Also, before we get into this show today, if you want to call in live, we would love to hear your voice on the show. You can call in live, and that number is 574-501-4945. That'll get you live on our show today, as well as you can also call later and leave a voicemail there. That is just a voicemail number. So let's get into the content of HLS streaming and HLS video in the Apple Podcasts. So Apple Podcasts recently has announced that they're going to be supporting video and podcasts. And you say, hey, Andy, wait a minute. I've heard that video podcasts were actually a thing way back when, in 2004, 2005, when podcasting actually became a thing. And that is 100% true. The Apple Podcast has always supported video, just like audio. And the thing is, way back when Apple Podcasts started supporting or did video, it was exactly the same as audio. So you uploaded your file to your podcast host, and that file was delivered in an RSS feed and was downloaded. Now, the downside of video, I guess the great thing about audio is it's a fairly small format. I mean, depending on your settings, your MP3 can range about a meg a minute, or even less, depending on your encoding processes and if you're using stereo and mono. Now, video, that is not the case. Video is intensive. Video is it's very large. And so for phones like this, for phones, it was very hard to fit all of that content in, especially back then. Those phones were a lot smaller, so you could really easily fill up your phone. And so video really didn't take off for that reason, as well as it's very expensive. It's very expensive to host and deliver audio files or video files for your podcast host. And so while some hosts like Blueberry and others have always supported allowing you to upload video, it just wasn't very cost effective for hosts to do, or for podcast hosts to do that. And then YouTube came along and pretty much ate lunch, right? I mean, it ate the lunch of podcast hosts, because it allowed you as a podcaster to upload your video right to Apple Podcast, or no, sorry, not Apple Podcast. That's wrong. Right to YouTube, and you were able to go ahead and just have essentially free hosting for your video. Now, what wasn't ever delivered in your podcast app, you had to go to youtube.com and even view it there. So now Apple is announcing that they are going to be supporting this format called HLS. And that stands for, it's actually something that Apple has created originally a while ago. It's a standard called uh, HTTP live streaming. So again, now I do live streaming right now. If you're watching me, you can watch on YouTube. You can listen in any podcast app by using, especially any new podcasting app. I like Cast-O-Matic, but I'm streaming live as I'm recording this, just as if I was on a radio show, right? But you don't have to do that. HTTP live streaming is not just for live streaming. So what it is and what the difference is essentially it breaks the video up into chunks, really, really, really small chunks, and sends those small chunks. So the nice thing about that is you can, instead of having to download the whole video, it essentially streams the video as opposed to downloading it. Now there is a difference between streaming and downloading the content. But the nice thing about that, with it being in chunks like that, is it can deliver the content that you need when you need it. So what I mean by that is, let's say I'm producing my video in 1080p. What happens is when I upload that video to my podcast host, they would break that and actually transcode that into several different formats. So a 1080p, a 720p, 320. So it's a lot of smaller things. So what can happen is, if on my phone I go into a bad cell area, they can degrade that stream down to something a lot smaller and allow me to still have a good quality viewing experience of the podcast. Because what will happen is you won't get that buffering and things like that, because it only downloads the chunks that it needs when it needs it, and it can easily switch to a lower quality if it needs to, without having to buffer, things like that. Now, what that also means for you is with Apple introducing this. So it's not there's just some benefits of this. It's a single integrated feed. So what we've seen before, and way back when Apple supported this from the beginning, it wasn't a single integrated feed. You had to create, let's say, podcast answers, and then in brackets audio, podcast answers in brackets video. So when I searched in Apple Podcasts, I would see an audio feed and I would see a video feed. So it's not a single integrated feed, and that kind of creates some disconnect, because let's say I do normally want to see the podcast answers video. I subscribe to that. But now what if I'm on the road and I know that I can't take it on the road? I'm going to be listening just audio. What do? I'm going to have to dump it and go to the audio. It's not a very good user experience. So the benefit is, again, this is a single integrated feed. It's smaller files, so you don't have the large video files like you did before. And you can also insert dynamic ads. Apple has said that you can put dynamic ads in the video files. So if you're selling dynamic ads, you can do that. They take a cut of it, from what I understand, as well as probably your podcast host takes a cut of it. But again, you can deliver those dynamic ads. Now, the one thing to note about this is it is delivered via API, not RSS. So the video file is not going to be in your RSS feed at this time. It's not going to be available to any other podcasting apps besides Apple Podcasts. It's kind of similar to how their premium audio is. If you were premium, if you can, have that subscription where you can create premium audio in Apple Podcasts, it is not delivered in an RSS feed, but an API. So in other words, what that means is I'll get into that in a little bit about how you do it, but what that means then is this content is actually going to be delivered by your hosting provider, though, because it's delivered via API. So it's not going to be like the Apple Podcast premium audio, where you upload your premium content or your videos to the Apple Podcasts website, the Podcast Connect's website. You're actually going to do this at your hosting provider. Your hosting provider is actually going to be the one that takes care of the actual location of where your files are hosted at. Now, this is, again, it's not going to be in the RSS, though, but it's going to be delivered via an API key directly to Apple Podcasts. Now, here's my hope. The Podcasting 2.0 group has come up with a standard called alternate enclosure. And this was kind of developed for this whole idea of different quality. So the idea of that, and again, I'm getting a little bit geeky here, but your RSS feed has what's called an enclosure. So when you publish your episode, it has a title, it has a description, it has a bunch of other stuff. But then the enclosure is actually a link to where your audio file is at. And so that's where podcasting apps can find and download the file. Now, what it means also though is that the alternate enclosure allows you to specify alternate enclosures for that episode. So you could say, here is my low quality, low bit rate audio file in case, you're in a location of the world that is restricted on how much bandwidth you can get. You can deliver an alternate audio file. Now, my hope is that because of the hosts are going to have this video file already, that they would just actually tie that into the alternate enclosure, and then any other podcast apps can use that video. That's my hope, because it'd be a super easy lift for them because they already have the video. They're already delivering this via HLS video. So my hope is that they would add this to the alternate enclosure. That way that you could provide this same video file to other apps. So that's my hope on where hopefully this goes in not just stays with Apple Podcasts. Because right now, Spotify, you can have your video in Spotify right now. The experience there is a little bit different because you actually have to upload your video file to Spotify. And I actually don't do that. And here's the reason that I don't do that, because you can't actually do that ahead of time. So for me, if I'm recording right now, I'm recording on a Tuesday, this episode gets published on a Thursday. I can't even upload my video to Spotify until after my episode goes live and after they have the episode up there from my RSS feed. And also, it takes over and this will be the same in Apple Podcasts. But when you're listening to the video, and let's say you want to switch over to audio only because you're in the car or you're walking the dog and you have your phone in your pocket, things like that. So what's going to happen is, because you've uploaded video, the audio will actually come from the video no matter what. You can switch back and forth, obviously if you can close your phone and continue playing it, but the audio is going to continue coming from that video as opposed to your audio, which that's not a huge deal. My audio and my video is the same. The only difference is I usually process my audio just a little bit and I don't with my video audio. So that's the difference there. So here's how to do this. So you have to first make sure that your podcast host is on the list of supporting people. So who is doing this right now? Acast. If you're hosting with Acast, you can do this right now. If you're hosting with Art19, you can do this right now. If you are hosting with Omni Studio, you can do this right now. If you're hosting with Podigy, you can do this right now. There's a bunch of other podcast apps, hosting providers who have said that they want to support this. And so Audio Means is having video coming soon. Ausha, hopefully I said that right, is coming soon. Buzzsprout coming soon. Captivate coming soon. In fact, Captivate actually has a live stream going on right now as I'm recording this, talking about their implementation of this. So I'm actually going to be watching this soon because I'm interested, because I actually host with Captivate. And if you want to host with Captivate, you can also do that too by going to podcastanswers.com/Captivate and get yourself a trial there. It's just one of the best podcasting hosts that I've found. That is an affiliate link there. Firestory says the video is coming soon. Libsyn says the video is coming soon. Podbean says the video is coming soon. Podspace says the video is coming soon. Riverside, video coming soon. RSS.com, video coming soon. Simplecast, video coming soon. Transistor, video coming soon. So those are just a few of the things that, and Alitu and Audio Boom. There's a bunch of people saying that they're planning on doing this eventually. So obviously that is going to be something that hopefully we see this from all podcasting hosts, because I do really think I really do think that it's going to be something really cool. But what you do is you make sure that your podcast host is on the list. And then what you do is you generate an API key. You go into Podcasts Connect and you generate your API key. And what that is essentially then you give that to your podcast host so that they can use the web API. An API is just something simple. It's application programming interface. It's a way that apps and websites can talk to each other. You share that key with your host, and then you just publish things out. And then because Apple Podcasts, they'll see that, and your host will be able to do that. Now, at this time, please note that the subscriptions that Apple allow you to do. So I have a subscription for this. If you're listening in Apple Podcasts, you can go in and get the same kind of extra support that you can, extra things that you can with the Buy Me a Coffee. Or sorry, not Buy Me a Coffee. That's the old one. The Patreon. You can get extra content and things like that. So, but at this time, subscriptions are only going to be audio. Now they say at this time, which means that could change. It could be in the future that subscriptions are allowed to do video too. But again, I guess that would be something different, a different way to think about it, because subscriptions, again, you upload your audio to Apple Podcasts Connect, and then it is able to go out. But at this time, excuse me, they don't have a way to do video, just Apple, or just audio. Now, in conclusion, should you publish video this way? Now, it depends, because video is going to cost your hosts more to do that. It's so they will, I would almost guess that all hosts are going to charge for I'm going to call it premium or a video package, something where it's going to cost more. Now, do we know what that's going to be? Unless your host is already doing video, has already implemented this, we're not going to know, because we don't know how much it's going to cost. Should you do video? I always tell people to begin with, you don't need to do video. You can get by with just doing audio, because if you're going to burn out, but again, I'm doing video. I like, if you have the means to do the video, do it. It gets your video out other places. And people do like seeing it, sometimes seeing the podcast host that they're actually listening to. So should you do it? I mean, you can always do your video through YouTube, and that's what I'm currently doing now. I'm pushing my video out to YouTube and then linking to that in my podcast app. So for me, what I do is I take the show notes, I take the link to YouTube, and I put that link in my show notes. So if you're listening in any podcast app, you could go ahead and switch over to the video. Now, is it a seamless experience? No, it's not going to pick up exactly where you left off, because it's going to start that video over, but you can do the video. If you're going to do video, again, should you publish this way? If you have the means and you want to spend more money at your podcast host, and this is a great way to get your show a more polished way. It is seamless. It's a good way. And again, what you're going to be doing though at this point is just paying for video in Apple Podcasts. So do note that at this point you will have to pay more, because your podcasting hosting is going to cost more for video. But at this point, as far as I know, no other podcast hosts are making that available to other apps besides Apple Podcasts. They could really, really easily with the alternate enclosure, because again, they already have the video. They're hosting it, so they could just add it as an alternate enclosure, and then podcast apps could start looking for that and doing video really, really easy. Guys, that is podcast answers for this week. If you got any value at all, I would love to have you support this show by going to podcastanswers.com/support. You will see our new Patreon page there. And again, you get all sorts of fun stuff like exclusive content and merch and live chats and behind the scenes content, shout outs, all the more fun things that you can do with that. So we would love to have you become one of the supporters so we can continue doing this show. Guys, with that, have a great week and happy podcasting.